It started like this. About 6 months prior to whatever had I passed away, I was riding a bike across a friend of mine's backyard, and I hit a cable. Okay, it's all going to mean something in a minute. Hit a cable, and it hit me in my neck. I didn't know, but I tore something in my neck. Okay. Fast forward about 6 months. Okay, I was having a little problem. I had a hernia, so friends, you know, they were like getting at me, want me to go to the hospital with it. So I went to the hospital, went to the ER, had a doctor check me out. He checked me out, and he said, "I will schedule your surgery for 3 days from now." I said, "Okay." So I went ahead and did that, and he said I was wheezing in my chest. So he wanted me to go ahead and take a breathing treatment while I was there. Well, I took the breathing treatment. I told him the stuff tastes rancid. He's like, "Okay." And then I took the breathing treatment, and they released me. When I got back home, having a little bit of trouble breathing. Like, yeah. Well, my ride left me, and I walked back to my place. I got where I couldn't hardly breathe at all. So I ran to my friend's house, being on the front door, and believe it or not, it was April Fool's Day. And so he didn't answer the door. He thought I was playing a prank on him. Couldn't get him come. So I started freaking out because I started losing more and more of my breath. But he lived in the business that he ran. So I ran across the parking lot, and before I made it to the road, I fell to my knee. Okay, and I looked up, and I knew I was dead. Nobody there, nobody coming down the street, no ambulance, nobody calling an ambulance. I knew I was. So, but I fell out. That was the point when I fell out. Okay, fell out. It was like a ringing sound, but it wasn't a ring. It was like a light. Then went down like a tunnel, and when I came out of the end of it, I was somewhere in the universe, and I was not in my body anymore. And there was something there that was talking to me, telling me, told me what kind of things, life, everything, and then finally he passed away. He was there. Everybody I've ever loved that passed away was there, but they wasn't there. Like, they were there. I knew they were there, and they were like communicating with me, but we couldn't. We were not in. We wasn't. We were not in our bodies. And then I realized that I was part of everything. Bible says that God is part of everything. The dirt under your feet, the water that you drink, the air you breathe. Well, I was too. And I knew if I wanted to be a piece of dirt on the ground right here, I could be. I was overwhelmed with a feeling of love that I never had, like 10,000 times stronger than anything I ever felt here. And I knew everything was all right. And I was happy. I mean, I felt a joyful sensation over my body, over my soul, whatever it was. But then something touched me like on my shoulder or anything, but touched my soul. Okay. And it told me that I had to come back. And I was like, no, I don't want to go back. I got to stay here. He's like, no, you got to go back. And so that's when I woke up. And woke up, they had done left me. I was dead for 14 minutes. Came back to life and said, there was, fixing to take me to more where, and when I woke up, well, there was an orderly over man grabbing search of me. But I didn't realize what was going on, so somebody had done something to me. Long story short, okay, find out when I woke up 19 days later, okay, after being in the coma for 19 days, found out that I had a tumor in my throat, and I didn't know. Riding the bike, and I hit the metal cable in the yard. It had tore something in my throat, and it had caused a growth on it. Well, they gave me the breathing treatment. The breathing treatment caused the tumor to expand about 6 times its size. But the tumor, when it expanded, it choked. That's why I had that. And I was in 6.5 hours. Would not wake me up. They kept me in the hospital for 19 days. I was at some point, I tried to feel release. I was scared to death. And I was mad. Back when they sent me back. I didn't realize then of everything that I knew. And I had a brain injury 20 years ago, and I was out for 14 minutes. I don't have any brain damage or anything. And that was strange, which I walked out of the hospital. And 2 days after I woke up, I walked out of the hospital. And they said that they had, they cut the tumor out. They sent it off, but it was benign. It wasn't cancer. But he said, surgeon said he'd operate on many tumors. It's the first one they ever had come back. It was, I've told a few people about, 'cause I'm telling the truth. You know what I mean? When you pass away, go somewhere. You don't stay in your body. You know, you don't hover around anything. You leave the place, but it's your conscious is still with you. You don't have that. And when I came back, I moved to Mississippi, and I told people there, I think who they, how they felt about it. Because like I was in the spirit, I feel like God touched me. Because I didn't wake up on my own. It was an experience, I tell you. But the feelings, love is everything there is. There's nothing else but that. You go, that's what you get. You're right. And I think I was good enough life. I do think I was in heaven. That was my hell. Whatever. I don't know about no hell because I haven't seen no hell. All I seen, I was overwhelmed with like a love feeling. And I know I was in a beautiful place. It's like I was in a galaxy. I could see everything, even though I was not in my body. I didn't need to talk. I didn't need to breathe. I just needed that and it saved my life too. I was like kind of like a now I'm like for myself, my girlfriend. People want to hear it. I tell them there's a heaven. There is a heaven. There's a heaven and there's a hell too. I don't have any repercussions from that or any, something that happened. That's more or less it. That's more or less that's it. And that's show. I know there's a heaven. I know there's a heaven because I was there before. I never doubted, that there was God and everything because everything had to come from somewhere. But I didn't, I didn't philosophies from the scientists, all this stuff about, when you go. That's what I was afraid of. But, when I hit the ground and went down to my knees, I knew, that the panic released. I released all the panic, went out. It's only so far you can go. But I shot down that tunnel. When I come out, it's like fireworks went off. I was somewhere else, but I was overwhelmed with love. It's not here on this earth. You have to go somewhere to get to feel it. I didn't see them. Okay, I could feel them because I could see where I was, but in the universe, I didn't see you. They were talking to me with feelings that wasn't there like, in the body. It was there in the soul. Like we were like telecommunicating. I remember every second of it. I remember God touched me. He did. He touched me like inside, and I know there's God. There's no. There was man. It's like there's no fear. There's no anger. There's no regret. There's none of that stuff. That didn't exist in me anymore. That I don't lie, and God is real and heaven is real. So that means the Bible's real, and if the Bible's real and God is real, heaven's real. That means the devil's real and hell is real, and all that stuff too. So have it changed? Like who I am has not changed. I've always thought, I was a good person, and I never try to do people wrong or anything like that. I try to tell the truth. This is absolutely positively necessary to lie. I will not lie. Save somebody's life or a little pretty good life. I would have been happy if I would have stayed there. Higher powered than what we are, pushing me back into my body. I've been dead for 14 minutes. It's, that's a long time to be dead. Especially to have your throat blocked too, I'm gonna back up like, I was pissed. I wanted to stay there. I said, no, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Send me back anyway. Then I guess that, they say you have a reason if you come back, because I'm nobody special. I'm nobody special. But he sent me back. I was there for 14 minutes and he sent me back. I don't know why. Maybe it's you communicate with somebody, change somebody's outlook or something, or change everybody's outlook. Send me back for a reason. I did not want to come back. I wasn't scared before because I ain't no wuss or nothing like that. Because everybody when born, one of the realities we have to take up, like one of the first things we learn is that we have to die. Everybody's going to die. And nobody's ready, I think. I never thought I would have, there was a tumor in my throat that was growing like that. And if I would have went to the hospital when I did, I had a breathing treatment, it probably would have turned into cancer and it probably would have killed me. Right now, I really suffer from cancer. But now I'm not. I'm in great health. I'm in better health now than I was when I came out of it, before I went in there. I didn't gain Superman's knowledge or anything like that. I had some wisdom for myself. I talked to a woman one time. She said, she had flatlined for like 3 minutes. She said she went to hell, and she's straightening herself right up. I appreciate everything. Since I woke up, I've been wondering a lot of things. If every death experience is the same, okay? If evidence, because they say we're all like part of one giant entity, and we're just pieces of it. Like we're all gods. All come from God. We know that. The Bible tells us we're all like just a piece, just a little speck, and we all go back to that bigger thing. But I'll tell you this: when they tell you that our name's Gaia, and that love is like the thing that base the universe stuff, they're all right about that stuff. You know what I mean? Because I just know that. I mean, the overwhelming feeling I had of love is just like it's the greatest thing in the universe. Like that it is, and it's what holds everything together. It changed my whole outlook of things. Like I said, I talked to a couple of people and told them my experience. It changed the way they look too, because one lady was down from dementia. She was scared. When I sat down and talked to her, she was so scared. When I got done, she had her face was lit up. She believed me because I'm telling the truth, and made a difference. Religion is set up on faith. That's all you have is your face. But people like me that die and wake back up, faith is something to have, but to know that it's there, I did this. Because faith, I've noticed with faith, people have a tendency to lean off to the sides a little bit. I mean, I'm not living like perfect, but I live good enough. I know I went to heaven. So, I'm just living my life like I did before. But I just got to have a message to it, like, that everything's real. Everything the Bible says is real. It's all real. Because I felt every bit of it. It's hard to explain that. All that's the only way I can explain it. I feel everything. When you went through that tunnel, it's like, you're going fast too. It's the best thing. And it's like being thrown through it like in a vacuum. And then when you come out, it's fireworks. It's an experience. I'm just glad I can come back and tell people about it. Because, I'm not waiting, people waiting around for aliens to come to Earth and Illuminati to take over and all that stuff. I'm not waiting for all that. Waiting for my chance to go back up there. And now I know why, when I was a kid in church, the older ladies in the church, they were always reaching up, and trying to touch God and everything. But they knew their faith had led them to that, And like when they passed away, they had to have a look on their face because they were ready to get away from here. They knew where they were going. They were going to go to heaven because their life right. And they were promised, see, we're all immortal. We don't realize this. We may die in the flesh. Our soul lives on, and everybody's scared of dying in that flesh because the flesh is for the sins. The sins, there's a heaven out there. I love God to start with, you know what I mean? Because I was raised Baptist and everything. But I love God to start with because I knew God loved me because, things in my life, I've been blessed so much that I'm living off my blessings, have been for the last 20 years. And God is perfect. But yeah, I believe in God, but I haven't changed my lifestyle or anything like that since, I live the same way. I don't go to church, it's just full of hypocrites, not, what it's full of. People that judge you. I don't go to church, sit around. Like, if I have something to say to God, I talk to God. Like, I'm talking to you right now. I'm not crazy or nothing, far from crazy. There's an inner voice inside of you that helps you, like, understand problems, things like that. That's part of God too. Listen, I feel like every religion, their highest power God or whatever, they're all the same. Just different people had, like you said, different outlooks, And I do think, maybe they go to different heavens. I never tell. It's my own good. I remember something as soon as, we hang up the phone and everything. Right now, I don't.